Guys, the fifth round of the FIDE World Chess Championship is finally over. And आज की games हर बार की तरह, it was amazing. Okay, you know what? Let's deep dive into the game. So Gukesh with the white pieces started with one e4. Ding replied, and you know what? ये काफी surprising था मेरे लिए, and I think तुम लोगों के लिए भी. He played e6 once again. So, round number one, he played e6. Gukesh had a slightly better opening, but cheese thodi downhill gi and he lost that game. So maybe that's the same strategy he had this time as well. We see d4, d5. But Gukesh replied with the exchange variation of the French defense. Take on d5, knight f3, knight f6, bishop d3. Pretty standard theory, developing the pieces out. c5, c3, c4, bishop c2, and bishop d6. यहाँ पे Gukesh ने खेला queen e2. And after queen e7, these guys are trading their queens. We see queen takes e7, king e7, castles. After castle, he played rook e8, rook e1, very standard stuff, and the rooks were traded as well. After king e8, bishop g5, another natural developing move, knight bd7, knight d2, and h6, attacking the bishop. Bishop gaya piche, knight to h5. Here Gukesh played rook e1 check, king f8, g4. And just notice karo tum, whenever Gukesh had the white pieces and he wants to attack, he always go for g4, a very, very ambitious play. So the knight is under attack. Obviously, he would defend it. He played knight f4. We see bishop g3, knight b6, g5, hg5, knight g5, bishop d7, knight piche gaya, so that we have knight d5 plans in the future. We see rook e8, knight e5, bishop takes. यहाँ पे Gukesh played d takes e5. Now, apparently it's a mistake. इससे हो क्या रहा है तुम पूछोगे. The problem is knight is going on d3 square, bishop takes d3, c takes d3, f3, and knight c4. अब तुम notice करोगे, if you don't do anything, play this is hanging, and if you play b3, your knight is hanging, and if you take on c4, this is a passer, and that might be a problem in the future. So we see rook to d4, bishop c6, attacking the rook and putting pressure on the pawn, and eventually that falls after bishop f3. We see king f2, the bishop goes back, and luckily Gukesh gets the pawn on c4 back as well. Now we see rook to d8, so that he pawn d2, d1 se queen kar paye. Now we see rook d4, the rooks were traded as well, and चीज़ें थोड़ी सी गुकेश के लिए बेटर होती हुई देखने को मिली, because we have opposite color bishop end game, and usually when you have opposite color bishop end games, they turn out to be draw. And luckily after bishop d5, some moves like b3, king e7, king d3, and the pawn falls. We see g6, king c3, a6, king d3, king f5, king e3, and they just shuffled their kings, and that's a draw. Okay, my thoughts for this game. I think it's a great result, given that you are, slightly behind. Like, position thodi si kharab thi after taking on e5 with the pawn instead of taking with the rook. And honestly, he could have went for a better plan, some कुछ अलग चीज़ें करने को मिलता. Exchange variations usually थोड़े ड्रॉइश होते हैं French defense वगैरह में, even Caro-Kann defense वगैरह में. So there was not much plan to do, but again, they drew with, by shuffling their kings. Obviously, opposite color bishop end game tha, so even if they could have grinded it out on move number 40, times were added and they drew the game. So let me know what you think about the game, your views, your opinions, and predictions for the round 6, where Gukesh would be playing with the black pieces. So tab tak ke liye, bas itna hi. I'll guys see you in the next video. Kate Gaming signing off. Peace.